Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. A little preview of some stuff we're going to be doing on ESP Roller 160. Now 160 is a twofer. We're going to be doing a little bit of boxing and a whole bunch of wrestling. Matter of fact, on the clip I'm going to give you is from the boxing material, because I refuse to give you a clip from the grappling material. It's nothing but escaping from double wrist locks, Kimuras from all positions. We're talking standing, crossbody, inside the bottom scissors, guard position. It's so stupidly simple. That's why we've not been showing double wrist locks for a while. We've been primarily running off of reverse levers. Anyway, Raw crew, when you get your new Raw, I think you'll be pleased with what we got going there. For the boxing material, we're going to be taking one tool, the lead hook. We can run it in combinations and such. But we're going to be talking about three different ways from different champs of the past with throwing the hook. They would have a hammer hook, a snap or whip hook, or something called a crunch hook. Here I'm just going to demo what the hooks are, and then we'll get into all the details about how you would throw them together and the mechanics of throwing them and tactically where to apply them in Raw 160. So this is more of a demo of maybe strategically when you might pull them and when you may not. Standard on a hammer hook, we know we got that one fused piece of bottom. We're used to the slamming the door principle. The body is going to be, it's going to have that whole turn will happen with it. It's pretty easy to recognize whenever, as long as we're not punching through it, we can see that hip slam on it. Very useful for counter revolution punching. And if you don't have a good mechanics down on that hammer hook, don't worry, Raw 160 or Cure what ails you. Now, if we're talking about throwing just a speed hook, a whip hook or a snap hook, and we want to be able to throw again off that same side of hand without moving off in the counter revolution period, pivot, unless we're throwing a lever punch, which we'll be getting to a little bit later. We're going to get a very similar sound out of that shot. It won't have near the whomp on it, but it's because we're going to get some immediately turnover right back into that same lead hand. So the snap or whip hook is for quick revolution or quick return for doubling up on the same side. Now the last one, we're going to just real quick, I'm going to show it. You can throw this for either doubling up on the same side or for counter revolution hook, and we're stealing this from the great Brazilian bantamweight and featherweight champ Edu Hofre, fighting late 50s, early 60s. Just poetry in motion the way this guy threw. Almost had his own vocabulary. It's very subtle sort of stuff he's throwing. It's still got a great deal of whomp on it, but you'll see whenever there's no real turn on it, it stays directly in front and still gets his shot out of it. It's almost a combination of a whip and a snap, but there's another little subtle thing going on with his hook. And again, we'll cover that in great detail on 160. But in a nutshell, what we can reveal is the fact the hammer hook is going to set up counter revolutions. A snap or a whip is primarily going to set up staying off the same side, where the crunch hook is going to give you the best of both worlds. And it's kind of nice to have them all thrown together into the same brew to get some meanness going over coming out of both your hands. It will give you more details on the 160, but again, short and sweet. We're going to have the hammer, turns the whole body. We're going to have the whip, gets to stay in front of it. And a small motion off that crunch hook, again, gets to stay in front of it for letting either hand decide which one's going to play out of it. And also in 160, we'll go into what Edu Hofre would do whenever he would throw his crunch hook. So it's really little cagey, candy little stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoy this stuff, guys.